Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Kemi, and I'm going to discuss Beyond the Gates episodes 120 to 121. So again, this is part two because I had initially did part one where I was going to do Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays episode, but then when I got to this episode, it was extremely long, so I decided to cut it into two parts. So this is the remainder of Tuesday and Thursday's episode. So let's get into the video. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. All right, so we get to Tuesday's episode, and um, I can't remember how it actually started off, but I feel like we started off with Smitty and not Martin, Smitty and Tyrell, and they're talking about Chelsea and what's going on. So Martin and Samantha get home, and they tell them like, she's a missing person, and we're going to see what we can do to find her basically, and they talk about family and love and all of this. um they also watch the live because Danny and Bill they do a live, so they watch the live, and Samantha tells Smitty like, you're an investigative journalist, like use your skills so that you can help find her. So Martin and Smitty end up going to the grandparents' house, to Anita and Vernon's house. So we also see, and I'm just getting like going through the things that just like was real quick, really didn't have much. I mean, has to do with the story, but it wasn't like big scenes. So in Monday's episode, Anita and Vernon, they leave to go to Uptown because they're going to go meet their FBI friend. So this episode, they meet their FBI friend. And when they first walk in, they see Vanessa and Joey like is like holding like, has holding Vanessa's hand on the table. And Vernon was just like, I wonder what that's about. And Anita was just like, that ain't none of ours. We're here for a reason. Let's get to it. So they go and sit with the FBI guy. And he really was of no help. Like, it was just like, sir, what? Like, they coming to you because they are the Duprees. Like, if I ask you to do something, you need to just go and do it. And it's like, the show touted the Duprees as this almighty, all-knowing family, but it's just like, are y'all this almighty, all-knowing family when all this stuff keeps happening to y'all and y'all aren't doing anything to they're not doing anything that makes them look good. Not even look good, but it doesn't like with the whole what's it called, with the whole Leslie of it all. And I'm gonna get to that when we get to her, because unfortunately we see her this week. But yeah, so when we get to her, I'll explain more. But yeah, so the FBI guy was just like, oh, maybe she just went for a walk, maybe she did this, maybe she did that. And it's just like, sir, no, she's missing. At this point, she's a missing person. I need you to do your FBI work and put her at the top of the list. So he finally agrees or whatever. So we see Joey and Vanessa talking, and Vanessa basically tells him like she doesn't want to do this with him anymore, and they need to stop whatever they're doing because it's not good, and her husband is spiraling and all this other stuff. And he was just like, okay, but okay, we'll see if this is going to stop. It's going to be like, I'm not coming to look for you no more. It's going to be you coming to look for me, basically. And yeah, like I'm not initiating anything anymore. So if this is what you want, then this is what you want. Boom. So he leaves or whatever. So we see Haley at her house with Caroline, and they're watching Obsessed, the one with Beyonce and Idris Elba, and they're talking about the movie or whatever. And then they get on the fact that she didn't get invited to Chelsea's launch. And she was just like, even though I was making inroads with them, now I'm not invited to this and that. And I don't care. And da 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 da. And it was just like, girl, you do care. Like, but, and then it's just like, my thing is like, why do you want to be around people that don't like you? Like this whole, I'm moving into their gated community because they're gonna have to accept me either way it goes. Why do you want that so bad? They don't like you. You ruin their family. Like no. And that's another thing where it's just like, again, the Duprees are supposed to be this almighty family. Y'all like built the country club. Like, I don't care if Bill is married to them. Like, no, I'm revoking your country club access. You can't come in here no matter what you say and do. It's in the bylaws. Like, we built this country club. Like, we can say who can and can't be in here, but y'all let her in here. Like, y'all let her in this community. No, if they're like the almighty Duprees, they would be more cutthroat and ruthless about stuff, but they're not. And it's just like, are y'all really the almighty Duprees, or y'all just, it's annoying. So she's complaining about not being, not being that girl, and she's not gonna always be mad that he has to co-parent with his ex, and it's just like, girl, you stole that man from his family. You have no right to say anything if he's gonna co-parent with his ex. Like, girl, stop. Go sit down somewhere. Shut up. And at this point, what is there to co-parent? Them kids is grown. One is married and one is yeah, they both grown. There's no co-parenting at this point. Like, what are you talking about? So Caroline tells her to call Bill to see when he's gonna get home, so that way she can say like, oh, because I know you're going to kick me out as soon as he gets here, so I don't want us to start a movie and then I get kicked out or whatever. So she calls Bill to check to see how things are going or whatever. And when he answers, he was just like, it's not a good time. Or no, he was just like, Chelsea is missing. um she's missing and we can't find her. And she was just like, oh my God, okay, I'm on my way. And he was just like, no, don't come here. We got it handled, X, Y, and Z. He was just like, I love you, and hangs up before she could respond. And so she gets mad and she was just like, I'm gonna be there for my husband, and da 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 da. And her friend Caroline is telling her, like, no, don't, like, why are you, like, no, don't go there, don't, he told you not to come, so don't come. Like, just leave it alone. You know how they get when they're like, when they get together. Like, why would you put yourself in that? And she was just like, I'm gonna be there for my husband. And she leaves and she goes to the Dupree house. So we see Danny looking at pictures of Chelsea as a baby, and Bill comes up to her, and she's mad at all the fights that her and Chelsea had. And Bill's like, no, you're an amazing mother, and everything's gonna be all right, unlike me. Because I did the family dirty, and I haven't been there for the family. And they hug, and here comes Andre coming in because she had texted him the day before to ask him to be the one to help them with the live stream or whatever. So Bill tell they're talking about Allison, and Bill is just like, man, what did this, who is this Allison person? And Danny is just like, oh, that's the one who broke our daughter's heart. And he was just like, wait, what? Like, so he's shocked because, again, he doesn't know that she's bi or gay or whatever it is that she is, because yeah, I think she's bi, but he doesn't know any of this. So when he walks into the living room, he sees Madison, and he was just like, oh, thank you for being here. Like, he wonders why she's there. And he was just like, well, Chelsea, I'm glad Chelsea has a friend like you or whatever. So Danny and Bill, they do their little press conference live stream or whatever. And as they're doing it, they're holding hands, and Haley shows up. And Naomi was just like, no, what are you doing here? And she's just like, I have a right to be here for my husband. And Nicole and Naomi go off on her. And as Naomi is going off, it gets loud or whatever. So they interrupt the live stream. And it's just like, girl, Haley, why did you even show your tail here in the first place? Like, he told you not to show up. Like, this is crisis mode right now. When you're needed, you will be needed. Like, why are you here in this moment? Like, you like annoying. So Bill comes over and he asked her, he was just like, what are you doing here? I told you not to come. And Naomi was just like, of course she wants to impede on a family emergency. Like, of course she wants to interrupt a family emergency. Like, I don't have time for this. So her and Nicole walk off to go and sit with Danny or whatever. So he pulls her to the side, And he was just like, why are you here? I told you not to come. Like, and she was just like, I'm here for my husband, and you were holding Danny's hand like that was your wife. And he was just like, our daughter is missing. Like, what is your issue? Like, our daughter is literally missing. We're doing a live press conference so that we can try to find her, and you're over here like, it's not about us. And she was just like, I'm making it about us because there should be us. You're holding her hand like she's still your wife, and X, Y, and Z, and this, and that. And he's just like, are you okay? And she was just like, I'm here for my husband when nobody else is there for you. And it's just like, ma'am, no, you're here because you want to make sure that you're in that, like, because he has people there for him in this moment. All of the family is there for him because that is their like, at the end of the day, Chelsea is a part of Danny and Bill. So with Chelsea missing, the whole family is putting aside their differences to be there for Bill and Danny. So you bringing your behind in to show like the reason why they are no longer a family is not a good thing. This isn't helping anything. Like, you being here isn't helping him the way that you think it's going to help, because now they're looking like exactly what Naomi and Nicole did. Like, why are you here? You broke up our family. Like, it's still fresh. Like, you being married to Bill and having an affair with him is still fresh. Y'all haven't been married for a year yet. It is still fresh on their minds. So you being here is not helping him. So you made Chelsea missing about yourself. And it's just like, something ain't right with you. This is why I still don't like you. You still on my list, and we just gonna leave you there. So she gives him a hug and he breaks down a little or whatever. Um uh let's see what else happens. So we get to okay, so we got that. Then we get to Jacob, Madison, and Kat, like they're in the living room, and Jacob tells Madison, like, the insurance, the hospital was what's it called? It was like a failure. Like, they couldn't find anything. The insurance that she provided, it was all everything. When they pulled it up, it was fake information, so they can't find anything. And then Madison is just like, well, what about her husband? And Jacob is just like, wait, what? She's married? And Kat is just like, it was a whole couple thing. We'll talk about it later or whatever. So they go and look to find her husband or whatever. So they find his IG, and they're going through his IG, and they're just like, this is not like, I see all these different women, but none of them are Allison, like, confusing. So Kat sends him a DM, and he agrees to meet her. So when they're getting ready to leave, they're getting ready to leave, and Jake, what's his name, Bill, comes in and asks something, and he was just like, they said, oh, we found Allison's husband. And she was just like, wait, so my daughter was dating a couple? And he was just like, Kat was just like, we don't have time for this. We're going. So they leave, they go to Orphe Jeans, and they meet up with Craig or whatever. And Craig is just like, yeah, I heard about what's going on. And uh yeah, he was just like, yeah, I heard what's going on. And he eventually tells them that he's an escort, and Allison had hired him because um he wanted Chelsea to be more comfortable with being with a couple, because at the time Chelsea's feed made it seem like she was only interested in guys. So she hired Craig to be her husband so that Chelsea would be comfortable having a relationship with both of them. So Kat at first doesn't believe this, and Jacob was just like, it's true. There's no marriage certificate for Jacob. Then not Jacob, but for Craig, because that's the guy's name. So then they find out that he works for Joey's escort service, and he works for Joey's escort service, and he was just like, I can give you some information, but I can't give you a lot because I'm not trying to get in trouble. And whatever I give you, please make sure that Joey doesn't know, because yeah, I'm not about that life really. So he gives them the dates of when Allison booked him or whatever. So Jacob is just like, all right, I'm gonna go work on that. What's it called? I'm gonna work on the what is it? The search warrant or whatever you call it. Not search warrant, but whatever it is, he's gonna work on trying to get that so they can get into Joey's information for the escort service. And then Craig tells him like, yeah, Allison was really like she was crazy, but if he had known that he was like she was obsessed with Chelsea, and he was just like, if I had known that she would go this far, then I would have stopped it a long time ago. And they were just like, well, thank you for your information. So he leaves. Jacob tells Kat to stay where she's at because he wants to go make a call to see if they can get, that search warrant or whatever. And Kat leaves. So he comes back and he was just like, God dang it, Kat, where are you? So we see Naomi, she's working on some case information, and Nicole comes to check on her. And she's just like, she explains what her case is and why she's working on it and all this other stuff. And then she like, Nicole, like, gets her to talk because she's a psychiatrist, so she gets her to talk. She starts asking her questions that makes her talk, and so Naomi breaks down, and she just feels like she's useless because everybody is doing something and she's just sitting there. So she cries, and I was just like, see, this all of this is so good. They're like all like the acting is just like top notch. Everything is just so good. So we get back to Allison and Chelsea. Allison is crazy. So Allison is mad at Chelsea because she ruined dinner, and Chelsea, she not having it. She keeps calling her crazy and telling her she gonna get locked up. And Allison goes to clean up the food. She goes to clean up the food that's on the floor, and what's it called? And Chelsea kicks her, so she falls over. And she was just like, "Oh my god, why are you being so rude?" I was just like, "What?" She was just like, "You're not showing gratitude for all that I'm doing for you." And it's just like, girl, what gratitude do you want her to show you? You kidnapped her. Like, excuse me? Like, are you okay? No, you're not okay. You're like not okay at all. So Chelsea calls her crazy again. And then Allison starts showing her, like, she shows her a bracelet that Chelsea had on at a fashion shoot. And Chelsea was just like, I don't remember having that bracelet on. Like, are you making things up? Like, I'm so confused. And so Allison gives her an apple, and she was just like, since you didn't want to eat, this is what you're gonna eat. And she was just like, I'm not eating that. And Chelsea tells her, Chelsea was just like, I ain't eating nothing. And then Allison was just like, okay, well then all that's left for us to do is to make love. And Chelsea was just like, girl, are you okay? So Allison leaves, and she comes back in this blue lingerie. Sorry. I was about to call it lingerie. She comes in with this blue lingerie, and she was just like, it's your favorite color. And she has one for Chelsea. And so she tries to she's telling Chelsea, like, I'm gonna like try to put it on. And Chelsea was just like, girl, if you're not gonna touch me. Like, if you was this part, yeah, she was just like, I will break your neck. Was this the part where she tells her that? I can't remember. I don't know if this was Wednesday's episode or Tuesday's episode. She tells her that, but she tells her, you're not going to touch me, basically. And then Allison goes in for a kiss, and Chelsea bites her. And then she was just like, oh, so you want to play rough? Oh, we can play rough. And she grabs her by the back of the head and like snatches her head back, and that's how the episode ends. And it was just like, Chelsea, girl, everything that you had, all them daydreams that you had on Monday, you are not using it to your benefit right now, because you keep calling this girl crazy. Is just making her go more crazy. Like, you're not, like, girl, what? Like, you had this whole day, like you had a whole day of daydreams of people giving you different advice on what to do to make sure that you can get out of this, and you keep antagonizing this woman. So it's just like, what was the purpose of you having these daydreams? Like, what was the purpose? So we get to Wednesday's episode. Um, and Wednesdays was good too. So we see Nicole with Danny, and Anita comes up to her and up to them and was just like, "Do y'all need anything?" And Danny was just like, "I just need my daughter." So Nicole tells Anita, "I got this. I'm a, I got this." So Anita walks off, and Nicole talks to Danny. She tries to calm her down, and she like, tries to, like soothe her, give her a pep talk, let her know we're gonna find the girls. So then Haley comes in the room, and of course she tries to talk to Danny, and Danny was just like, check with um I gotta go check with Ma about the meet Ma and Pop. Mom and Dad about the meeting and the secret meeting. And Haley was just like, "Oh, with the FBI guy," and Danny was just like, "I guess nothing stays a secret anyway." She was just like, "All right, I'm gone. You coming?" And Nicole was just like, "I'll be right back." So I'll be there. So Danny leaves because it's just like, Haley, why are you trying to talk to her? Like, again, you breaking up her marriage is still fresh. Yes, you recently had a miscarriage and she was apologetic towards you, but you breaking up her marriage of how many years is still fresh on her mind. She does not like you. Why are you trying to be like, girl? No, I don't. I don't know when or if they will ever be of a cohesive family. I don't think they ever will, but girl, leave it alone. So Nicole asks Haley how she's doing, and then she talks about Bill. And Nicole was just like, "No, I mean, how are you doing after the miscarriage? I know it's tough." And she was just like, she's so appreciative. So she gives her a hug. Um, let's see, Naomi comes in, and so Naomi comes in and she sees this, and then she goes over and she's just like, "I'm about to go to the station to check with Jacob." And again, she is not fooling with Naomi. I mean with She's not fooling with Haley. So she leaves and she goes into the living room. But prior to this, we see Bill and Martin talking. Like, Martin and Smitty finally get to the house, and they go to, because they don't live in the gates, they live outside the gates if I'm not mistaken, at a brownstone. So they finally get to the Grands, and Martin comes in and he goes straight to Bill, and he's like, "Whatever you need, like what's the update, and whatever you need, I'm here for you. If I need to put out some fillers, I got you." And Bill was just like, "Oh, I didn't think that you would." And he was just like, "You saved my daughter and my family, so whatever you need, like, again, I got you." And then Vernon comes in and he's just like, "It's not about us not like fooling with you or whatever. It's just about the methods, but we are family at the end of the day, so we got you." So again, Bill has people. So Haley, why did you come? Whatever. So we get back to, so this happened earlier. So now we get to Naomi. She's getting ready to go to the station, and she comes out and she's talking to Smarty, Smitty and Martin and Bill, and they're talking about Martin's just like, "Oh yeah, I heard that you met this woman." And I forgot all about that. I forgot all about that scene. And it was just like, "Jacob, you also met this woman, if I'm not mistaken." Yeah, because they had all, like, it was, I think it was Jacob, Naomi, Ashley, and Derek. They were at Uptown, and then what's it called? Naomi had saw Chelsea there with Haley, and not Haley, but with Allison, and she told them to come over. So, Jacob, you know who this woman is, so why are you acting like you don't? But okay, whatever. So Martin asked her, like, someone said that you met her, like, you met her. And he was just like, yeah. She was just like, "Yeah, I met her, but I didn't think they were dating because she had a ring on." And Martin was, Bill was just like, "Wait, what? Dating? What?" And so then she what's it called? What happened? So he was just like, yeah, you met the woman. He was just like, wait, what? And then she tells them, she was just like, yeah, but she's not married. And she tells them how Craig was an escort and that Allison hired her. And then he was just like, wait, so my daughter, no, yeah, because he was just like, wait, so my daughter was dating a couple. And then he was just like, so y'all knew? And Martin was just like, because she asked me for advice. And he was just like, come to think of it, I haven't talked to her since. And they was just like, um, Smitty was just like, yeah, because she's been busy with her brain, like, her purse line. And then Bill was just like, yeah, with her cease and desist. And then Naomi was just like, yeah, with her girlfriend. And he was just like, wait, girlfriend? My daughter has a girlfriend? And then they all look up and here come Madison. And Bill is just like, what? That whole scene with Bill finding out everything was just like, oh, you really been out the loop, and this is your fault because again, you did the family dirty, so you can't be mad. so, so what happens after that? I'm sorry. Talk about so Bill goes to Danny because she's sitting down, and he was just like, she asks where Haley is, and Danny asked him where Haley is, and he was just like, she's upstairs with Nicole looking through Chelsea's social media to see if anything pops out or whatever, in case we need to have other suspects. And Madison walks up and she is just like, it's Allison, it's Allison or whatever. And she was just like, I just want to say I'm sorry because I was afraid of Allison, but Chelsea was telling me that she got this and she doesn't think that she could handle it. So she was just like, I should have trusted my instincts and done something about it. And Bill is salty because he didn't know anything about his daughter being, gay or whatever. So Madison goes to him and she was just like, she was gonna tell you tonight, and you still have a chance to talk to her once she gets home and all this other stuff. So she walks away, and then reassures her Danny reassures her that she's doing everything that she could. She loves her daughter, and that's all. She loves their daughter, and that's all that they could ask for. And that's when Bill is salty about not knowing any of these things, and so Madison tells him, she was going to tell him. And Bill is, yeah, so she tells her she's gonna tell him or whatever. Then what else happens? See, a lot, like, everything is going here and there or whatever. So sorry. So okay, so yeah, so Martin, so that scene happens with Madison telling Bill that Chelsea was going to tell him about them and all this other stuff, and he still has a chance to, talk to his daughter or whatever. So the next scene we see is Danny telling Madison to go home because she has to work the next day. And she was just like, if anything happens, I'm gonna call you. Like, you were gonna be the first person on my list. Like, it's gonna be okay. Just, Chelsea would be mad if you didn't, go help your patients or whatever. So she goes home. When she leaves, Andre comes back and she was just like, oh, you're back. And he was just like, of course. And so they hug, and as they're hugging, Haley and Bill walk in, and Bill is looking the like, what is this something? So he's looking jealous. And Haley, when she sees him, she was just like, oh, okay, I see. And then she looks at Bill, and then she sees Bill is jealous, and she's just like, wait, what? Oh, okay. So the next scene we see is Danny and Andre are sitting like on a couch or on the little, I don't know what it's called, but that they're sitting somewhere, and like Bill is watching them. And Nicole comes in and she gives him tea because he was about to drink some liquor. So she gives him tea, and she was just like, this will help you better, even though that would make you feel good. So he keeps looking back at Danny and Andre. And so Nicole asked him, so where's Haley? And he was just like, I sent her home. So, so you mean to tell me, Haley, that your man sees his ex-wife hugged up on a younger version, a younger new man, and you see that he's jealous, and he sends you home and you go, uh, you think y'all gonna last long? You don't know that. Yeah, y'all not gonna last long. so, so Nicole, uh, is it Nicole? Yeah, Nicole, tells him she was just like, she was just like, so I guess you're just now finding out about them. And he was just like that, and amongst other things. And she was just like, well, we all keep, everyone keeps secrets. You should know about that. And you can't expect full closure from your family or your ex-wife. And he's just like, and it's just like, it's the truth. Like, you did them dirty. You shouldn't be expecting anything from them. Like, no, they're not gonna talk to you and tell you about nothing. None of that. They're not gonna tell you any of that. So we see Naomi coming back home because she had went to the station to talk to Jacob. And when she went to the station to talk to Jacob, he tells her that, my dad is talking to Joey, and I wish Kat would have never left because I don't know where she went, and I could have told her what the plan was. And Naomi was just like, oh, she was just like, man, I'm sorry that y'all have to get information from someone that you're supposed to be arresting. And he was just like, I'll do anything to find your sister, find your sister. I would do anything for family. And she was just like, oh, so now my Boy Scouts gonna walk on the wild side. And it was just like, exactly, you talking all that big stuff when it was, I don't even know who you was talking that big stuff against, but it was just like, you was real quick to say all of that stuff, and now you're just like, you about to cut corners and do all that other extra stuff just to help family. So it's just like your daddy had told you when he went in on you, and let you know, like, you ain't want to talk. It was the truth. So now you understand. So Naomi comes back to the Grand's house, and as she's walking in, she's about to close the door, and Ashley comes in, and Ashley, like, she was just like, I was just checking on you. I heard what happened. She gives her a hug, and as she's hugging her, she sees Andre and Danny together or whatever. So then we see Ashley and Andre talking, and they're talking about how, oh, you're here for Danny and X, Y, and Z. And he's just like, well, you're back with Derek, X, Y, and Z. And it was just like, okay, whatever. Who cares? Yeah, whatever. Like, whatever. So we see Bill and Danny talking, and Bill is just like, he's feeling so left out because he didn't know anything about his daughter's love life, anything that's been going on with her. And Danny is just like reassuring him, like you're gonna talk to your daughter. She's gonna talk to you when she gets back. You're gonna love on her and hug on her, and we're never letting her out of our sight. And they're holding hands like a couple does. And he was just like, oh, when she gets back, I'm gonna fix everything. And it's just like, so are you gonna fix it? What you gonna do? You gonna get back with your ex-wife to fix it? Because that's really the only way that you can fix it, honestly. Because if you're still with Haley, ain't no fixing it. So so we see Anita. She is on the phone with Sharon, and she's like, thank you guys for putting out the word. And some things came up, but we'll talk about it later. So she gets off the phone with Sharon. She goes to answer the door because it rang, and here's Leslie. Leslie comes in with a sympathy plant, and honestly, this scene wasn't needed, but she's here. So she comes in, and she's just like, I just wanted to, say my sorries for, whatever. And then Anita was just like, Chelsea. And she's just like, that's the girl's name. And it's just like, so here Bill comes up behind her, and he was just like, I thought I heard your voice. And she was just like, I hope and pray that you feel what I felt when you said that you was going to take my daughter and all that. And she's like very cartoonish, and she's praying and all this other stuff. And, Bill like picks her up and kicks her out the house or whatever. And he after he does that, he goes and hugs Anita. So again, like, Bill wants to be back in the Dupree family. He wants to be back in the Dupree family. He really does. And it's just like, you being with Haley is not gonna help you with that. So we gonna see how you gonna do this. So what else happened this episode? Um, cause let's see. Oh, we see Kat. So she ended up going to Joey's, and I was just like, I love me some Kat. I love her down, but she just be too like she doesn't like. I need her to slow down. Like stop doing the mostest and the extras. It's like, girl, like you gonna get people caught up. You gonna get something bad's gonna happen, and it's just gonna be it's like on your fault. Like with this whole situation, with you going to see Joey and asking him for the information, and you trying to throw around your name, and it's just like, girl, like so she goes to see Joey. She asked him for the information. He says he ain't gonna give her the information. She was just like, I would do anything for family. And he was just like, all right, if the only way that I'll give you the only way that I will give you the information is if I talk to Martin. So she was just like, okay. So we see Martin and Smitty. They're back at the house because they've left the Grands. They're back at the house and they're talking about the whole situation. They had went and checked on Samantha and Tyrell, and they're talking about black girls going missing and no one batting an eye. And he starts to talk about like, we need to be all equal. If they say we're equal, then we need to be equal. If a black girl is missing, then we need to treat it like if a white girl is missing. And Smitty is just like, did my congressman come up with the pitch? And he was just like, yeah. So he's like, he wants to like enact a bill where he's going to try to write a proposal so that they can have a bill about missing black girls and all this other stuff. So they start to get close, and they're about like, he's comforting Smitty is comforting Martin, and they're about to kiss, and then the doorbell rings and it's Kat. And Kat comes in and tells them like, Joey said he would give us the information, but he wants to talk to you and only you. And she was just like, why does he want to talk to you? And Martin was just like, I don't know, did he not tell you? And she was just like, no, he just said he wants to talk to you. And she was just like, why are we holding off? Like, why is this a question? Why can't we just go talk to him? And it's just like, because you don't know what's been going on. And if Martin goes and talks to this man, we don't know what this man is going to ask him. Because again, I don't know why she doesn't know Martin's secret. I feel like I thought they told her. I really thought they told her about that. Or was it, or did, I could have sworn they told her about Martin's secret, or maybe Nicole just told her that she was getting a divorce. I can't remember. I'd have to go back and look, but I can't remember. So, so Martin goes to Joey, and Joey basically says, if I'll do this for you, but I'm going like when I call, I'm gonna do this quid pro quo, and I don't need an intermediary. I only want to deal directly with you. So if you want this information, then you're gonna have to say when I call, you're gonna have to answer, and whenever I call, you're gonna have to do whatever I say. And it's just like, okay, so now Martin has been dug deep into to Joey's world now, because it's just like, Kat, you couldn't mind your business, or you couldn't wait to see what they was gonna do. So she goes to see Jacob, because Jacob was again at the station. He had talked to Naomi, and Kat comes in, and he was just like, where'd you go? And she was just like, I went to go see Joey. And he was just like, girl, is you okay? Like, why would you do that? You don't know what's going on. Like, and she was just like, oh, he just wanted to see Martin. He said he would give us the information, and he talked to Martin. And he was just like, in his head, he's just like, okay, now Martin is into some ish, and we don't know what it is, and he can't say it to Kat because clearly Kat doesn't know. So they get a text from Martin with all the information they need. And so what's it called? Kat is happy because she's just like, we got this information, and now it's one step closer to finding Chelsea. And Jacob is just like, oh God, like now what's going to happen to Martin? Because he's thinking like, this came with an ask, and now Martin is going to have to fulfill this ask. So what is it? So then we see, then we go to the whole Allison and Chelsea of it all. So Allison is still trying to make Chelsea make love to her. And Chelsea kicks her off the bed. So she kicked her when she was sitting down, and then she kicked her off the bed. And Allison is just like, why would you do that? Like, girl. So she was just like, why would you do that? You could have hurt me. And then Chelsea was just like, you think it like that could have hurt you. I learned self-defense. So try me if you want to. And she was just like, I learned self-defense and defense, and I'm not afraid to use it. What's it called? So they go to a commercial break and we come back to them, and Chelsea tries to talk Alice into thinking it's a mistake, and she just has to let her go, and then everything will be all right, and everything's gonna be okay. And Allison was just like, nah, this is not a mistake. I love you. Um, this is what love is. And Chelsea was just like, no, it's not what love is. You don't handcuff somebody to make them love you. And Allison was just like, yes, you're handcuffed for eternity and forever and ever. And that is what love is. And it's just like, girl, are you okay? Like, no, you're not okay. But she's so crazy. So at this point, like initially when Chelsea was first handcuffed, she only had one hand was handcuffed. And then like by this episode, we see that both of her hands are handcuffed. And I was just like, am I tripping? Did she have both hands handcuffed this whole time? And I just didn't notice it. But I went back and I was just like, okay, no, she didn't. So when Chelsea had kicked her the first time, she had handcuffed both of her legs after she had threw the drink in her face. That's when she handcuffed both hands. So I was just like, Allison is a mess. She is really a mess. So Allison is talking about these messages that Chelsea sent her. And Chelsea was just like, I did not write that. I said, like, I was treading lightly because I didn't know how you felt. So I just said I wanted to see you again. And she was just like, well, this is how I read it. And she was just like, so you just making stuff up in your head? And it was just like, Chelsea, yes, she is. She's crazy. At this point, she is crazy. Chelsea, she's crazy. What are you talking about? So she was just like, I did not write that. That is not what I wrote. And then she was just like, but why would she was just like, and then you like, she was just like, you broke up with me. You broke my heart. Like, I don't understand. And she was just like, you were saying that, playing hard to get is what will get you going, like get you, like make you think you want me more or whatever. And Chelsea was just like, girl, I was just dancing to a viral song. That is not that is not how I feel. Like Allison is crazy. So then she threatens to send the messages to Madison, and Chelsea was just like, "No, don't leave her alone." Da 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 da. Um, Chelsea tells her like, I'm not into you no more. Like you broke up with me, and we were supposed to end. That's how it's supposed to be. Like, why are you like? What is this? And Allison was just like, no, we're meant to be together, and we're always going to be together, and da 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 da. So she leaves the room, and Chelsea, she leaves to go, like, cause she had cleaned up the room, so she leaves to go take out the trash, and Chelsea sees the phone, so she tries to go and get the phone, but again, both of her hands are cuffed. And then I'm just like, at the same time, I'm just like, girl, grab the bed, pull the bed, move, like, do like something. But maybe the bed is bolted down. That's why she can't move the bed. Or maybe the bed is too heavy for her to move. I don't know. So she tries to get the phone, but she can't get to it. And Allison comes back, and Allison tells her, it's such a beautiful night out. We should be out looking at the stars. I saw the seven sisters and all this other stuff. And then Chelsea tells her the story of Andromeda, and how she tells her the story of Andromeda, one of the sisters. I can't remember what the story is about. But then she also talks about how Allison ruined her big night. Like this was like the night of her dreams, and she ruined it by kidnapping her. And Allison was just like, we'll make new dreams. Girl, what? Like Allison is bat shit crazy. Like for real, for real. So she tried, okay, so this is when, so I made a mistake. So this is when she tries to change Chelsea, and Chelsea was just like, if you touch me, I'm gonna break your neck. And she was just like, well, if you break my neck, then you just gonna be here by yourself, because who's gonna uncuff you? And then she was just like, but on the second hand, if you do break my neck, I do give you permission to eat me. That way we'll be together forever in eternity and always. was like, "Are you okay?" Like, no, you're not okay. You're not okay. You're not okay at all. Not okay. So Chelsea was just like, "Ugh," like she can't do nothing. So she was just like, "I'm hungry," and Allison was just like, "Well, that's your fault. Ain't nobody tell you to kick over the food. Ugh, what you like? I'm going to bed." And Chelsea was just like, "If you go to bed, you're not gonna get no sleep because I'm gonna make as much noise as possible." And Allison was just like, "Okay, well then that's fine. I'll just go out to eat." So she leaves her, and then Chelsea's like screaming. She tries to get the phone again and she can't get it, and then she just screams, and that's how the episode ends. So these episodes have been so good. But I will be back for Thursdays and Fridays episode. This video is getting long, so I may break up. I may just do episode I may do Mondays by itself and then Tuesday and Wednesday together because yeah, it's long. So we'll see how I'm gonna do it. But if you like what you see, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, get down in the comments, let me know what you thought of these episodes, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.